So what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to show you, is what I think is one of the most important concepts I ever learned. I used to, when I first started coaching 19 years ago, every seminar, everything that I did, I would feature this concept. And as time's gone on, it's still just as important, but I tend to feature it less. So the reason that we're making this video is so that it can be accessible to lots and lots of people all the time. It's so important. As we go through life, we can't dictate what happens to us, but we can dictate our reaction to what happens to us. And if we're below the line, the three words that apply are blame, excuses, and denial. Now, when Emily, my stepdaughter, was a little girl, she came home from school and she said to her mum, "Mum, terrible thing happened at school today. Mrs. Smith, the maths teacher, gave us a maths test, but she didn't tell us that we were going to have a maths test, so I got really, really bad marks." And when she saw the look on Jane's face, she said, "But don't worry, Mum. When I go to the big school, I'm going to do arts, not sciences, so maths don't matter." Now, even though she was only a little girl, she was about 10-year-old, I think, at the time, she managed to get all three, blame, excuses, and denial, in one paragraph. Not her fault, blame, the teacher never told us, so I wasn't prepared, excuse. And by the way, maths doesn't matter, denial. Now I hear that all the time. "Ian, you don't understand, it's the government," blame. "Ian, you don't understand, it's the competition," excuses. "Ian, you don't understand, it's where I live, it's my parents." And the real kicker is denial. No, we're not going bust, we just haven't made profit for 3 years. Now, here's the question. Do you know people who live a big part of their life below the line? There's always someone to blame, there's always an excuse, or it really doesn't matter anyway. Of course you do. We all do. But here's the real question. Are you ever below the line? You see, when we're below the line, what we're really doing is that we're letting ourselves off the hook. It's not our problem. It's not our fault. It's all down to the rest of the world. Now, compare and contrast below the line with above the line, because above the line, the three words that apply are ownership, accountability, and responsibility. Now, when I say responsibility, I don't mean blame. I mean the ability to choose our response. So if I go back to Emily, compare and contrast the difference. Had she come home and said, "Mum, terrible thing happened at school today. Mrs. Smith, the maths teacher, gave us a maths test. She hadn't told us we were going to have a maths test, so I got really, really bad marks. But don't worry, Mum, I'm going to make sure I'm always ahead of this. I'm going to make sure I'm always ready." Because basic maths, well, that's necessary. Besides which, I'm better than that. Can you tell the difference? You see, when we're below the line, what that is a victim mentality. When we're above the line, that's a victor mentality. Now, the fact of the matter is, it's your choice. Every minute of every day, every human being gets to choose their attitude. At this time of the year, the geese don't get to choose which direction they fly in, but every minute of every day, every human being gets to choose their attitude. So my question is very simply, what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose the victim mentality or the victor mentality? Because whichever you choose will dictate the course of your life.